Hey everybody. Well, today I'm going to start off with kind of a Neville quote, Neville Goddard quote. The moment you observe the unwanted and accept it as real, you drop your assumption. So that basically means that whatever you see on the outside and you notice it and you say, well, this is real because I'm noticing it. It's here in front of me, so it has to be real. Right when you do that, you're dropping your assumption of what you truly want. And so today I want to talk about that a little bit more in depth and how to build your beliefs, build your new belief system, build the new you. And that takes some conscious effort because we've been on autopilot our entire lives. We've been programmed by everything around us. And we've even programmed ourselves wrong. So now is the time to consciously program something new in. So we're going to talk about that today. My name is Samantha, and I'm a therapist. And if you're new here, I am doing a video every day for a year. And today is video number 58. So in each video I do, I'm hoping to get more strategic with the topics. So we'll just see how this keeps going on. I'm going to learn more about YouTube and get into it. So I'm going to assume that my channel is going to blow up someday. So thank you all that have been here watching my journey through this. It's been very interesting working through my social anxiety that I have and just being on camera in general. When I look at the camera every day, I don't get like this sick feeling in my stomach like I used to. So I feel like I can be on camera and have my picture taken maybe and things like that I didn't used to be able to do very easily. So I've kind of dropped the assumption that I need to have social anxiety at all. Maybe you just need to drop an assumption that you have. Think about what you're assuming on a daily basis. Maybe there's something that you just need to simply not assume anymore. And because we assume a lot of things and we know what assume means. So we need to stop thinking the same way that we've always thought in order to get what we're really wanting. So do a little investigation on yourself. What are you assuming on a daily basis? What are you thinking about? What are you imagining? Your brain doesn't know whether what you're thinking is true or false. It's just going to kind of go the way you tell it to go. It's kind of dumb, actually. It's like, okay, I'll think what you want me to think because it just goes that way. And so your body may feel some things along the way that you're not listening to as well. So always keep the thought of, what is my body trying to tell me? What is this thought that I'm thinking creating in my body? What sensations am I feeling? And I'll talk about more like mind-body connection as we go on too in other videos. But I like to make the suggestion to kind of get into your body and feel what you might be ignoring. A lot of times we dissociate, which is kind of like, we kind of like leave our body. I envision a soul jumping out of a body almost. And we just kind of are ahead of our body and we're not even like really living. We're just kind of like stressed out. And we're impulsive and not really thinking so much. So we're just kind of like just out of our bodies. So I encourage you to like get back into your body and ground a little bit with some, maybe your feet on the floor, maybe take your shoes and socks off, put them on the floor. Maybe while I'm talking to you, do a little grounding. You know, notice what's going on in your room. Notice that you're like sitting on the couch or sitting on the floor or sitting in a chair or you're eating a snack. I do recommend getting a snack and a water or some other beverage while I'm talking. Might make things a little more fun. You never know. So whatever you need to do to feel better in this moment, just take a moment and just do some breathing. Ground yourself. Close your eyes if you need to. And just kind of relax a little bit. I'm inviting you to relax. How about that? I give you permission to relax. Sometimes also with relaxation, we're so amped up all the time. Our nervous system is so amped up that feeling relaxed almost feels like danger. That's something to think about too. Are you afraid to relax? Because if you do, what could happen? So sometimes we think the other shoe's going to drop. If I relax and enjoy this too much, then I got to go back to my life again, or something could happen to where I won't be ready for it. So I better not relax. I'm not allowed to relax. Everybody else can relax, but I can't. What beliefs are you holding on to? You get to relax too, just like anybody else. So really think about these things, and also think about if you feel in danger when you relax. That was something I had to learn over the years with clients. Sometimes they just couldn't relax, and so we had to work through some things to get them there. So keep that in mind too. About relaxation in general, and how the more relaxed you are, the easier it's going to be to manifest things. I truly believe that. But also you can manifest anything, really. I mean, at any time. But I've seen the most sustainable manifestations, and the ones that are the most fulfilling, seem to be when you're more relaxed and you're just like, yeah, I have that. That's who I am. I have that. That's me. And you just kind of naturally go into that state where you can actually keep it. Instead of it flying away and floating away from you again, you can actually keep it. That's what we want to do, is keep the manifestation. So I also wanted to point out about triggers, because sometimes we have triggers that send us down into the rabbit hole, into the spiral, into the depths of despair, and we don't want to go there. If you've been going there over and over, I assure you, you don't have to do it forever. I promise. Even if you've done it all your life, even if you're 85 years old right now and you've been doing it your whole life, you literally don't have to do that anymore once you're aware of certain things. If you have a trigger, what you can say is, I've witnessed this trigger point and I'm choosing again. I'm going to choose something different, and I'm going to put some power behind it and intention more this time. I'm going to choose differently this time. So that's what you need to say when you've got a trigger that's present. It's giving you a gift. And you say, thank you, trigger. What gift are you giving me? Even though you suck in this moment, what gift can I take from you? Because you're giving me something, even though it's the exact opposite of what I want to see. That's always been the most interesting thing to me, when the opposite shows up of what you're wanting. And you're like, what the hell? I've been working on this for so many months, and here's the opposite. I thought I was doing good. And I'll tell you, you're doing great. Sometimes the opposite shows up, as Neville calls it the bridge of incidents. So it's kind of that thing that's in the middle. It's like a bridge, literally leading you to your manifestation, or whatever it is that you're wanting. Whatever you want to call it. Manifestation, materialization, the thing, whatever. It's leading you to the thing. And so, or the you that has it, really is what it's leading to. The you that already has it. So, and your job is to believe. Your job is to be bold with conviction. I think it says that in the Bible, like, be bold with conviction about your vision, and be very steadfast in that. And so when we have our life showing us some things going on, you don't want to neglect your bills and, just ignore things. Of course, you don't want to do that. You want to take care of your body, take care of your mind, take care of your finances, your relationships, all of that. But what you want to do is disregard the emotions that are tied to that. Like, you want to look at it like you have two lives. You've got the life you have now, and then you've got the life that you want. And then you've got this bridge in between the two. So that bridge is where the work takes place. We call it work. It's fun work. It's where you shift your identity. This is where we're doing that identity shift right here. So it's like you've got the old life and you're looking at it. And so you acknowledge it's real, it's happening. Yes, this is where I'm at. But you take the emotions and you move those over to the other life. And you say, okay, I'm putting these emotions in my backpack. We're walking across the bridge, and we're going over here to 2.0 me. And that's where you want to put your emotions. The better emotions, the more powerful emotions that are going to get you what you want instead of what you've always gotten. That's the goal. If you think the way you've always thought, you're going to get what you always got. So you got to think differently to get something else. And it's only your mind that is stopping this. It's just your mind. When I learned that, it took me a while. I'm pretty stubborn with things, and I always like to think magically. And I'm a skeptic, I would say, but I'm also very open, very magical thinking. You know, that's how I've always been. But when I really, really took all this in and started changing my own identity, I think we change our identity all the time. We just don't realize we're doing it. I think we do it all the time, every day, all day. We're just changing all day. But when you really notice you've really shifted your whole being, you know it. You can't really describe it, you just know it. And so when I actually did that and experienced it and actually was conscious of it, that's what really made me want to teach this to people. Because once I started believing differently, everything changed. And it didn't all look very good at first either. There were some things in there that showed up and I was like, oh my God. But then when your self-worth goes up, certain people will fall away because you attracted them when your self-worth was low. They're used to that person that is like got a self-worth issue, self-concept issue. But when your self-concept shifts and you know you're worthy, you're going to start attracting people and things and items and whatever into your life that you couldn't at the level of consciousness that you were at the other identity. So remember that. And when I learned that, I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. That's so cool. I love this. I love this so much. And I just started practicing more and more. And then I got on camera. This channel got started because I shifted my identity. There is no way I would have done this before at all. I wouldn't have been confident whatsoever. That's why I encourage everybody, even if you don't start a channel, which I totally recommend you do, just record yourself talking and you'll and then watch it back and you'll kind of get to know yourself. Just talk about your life and watch it back and you'll kind of literally get to know you because you're hearing an account of your own self, your own life. And sometimes you'll just say things on the camera you won't even remember saying them. Like these videos, I sometimes have notes, of course, to kind of keep me on track. And eventually I'm probably going to plan a little better. But like, this is just off the top of my head. I don't even remember what I'm saying half the time. I really don't. I don't even know where the words come from, really. I honestly don't. So when I watch it back, I'm like, oh, that was cool that I said that. That's awesome. I don't even remember saying that. So it's really interesting. Just maybe record yourself just with audio if you're not wanting to do, the camera thing. So that's just a suggestion that I have because it's really helped me a lot to get over all the nervousness I had. And also when you think about like what keeps me going is that I know I'm helping at least one person. And so that really helps me keep going because I want to help as many as I can. But if I know I'm helping just one person and what I'm saying is really actually resonating, they're taking it in, they're utilizing the information, implementing it, really just helping them, then that's the whole point of this. I just want to give out information that really helped me and that I know could change your life and transform your life, really transform you and your life and your whole experience while you're here on Earth, at Earth School. So I just love it. And I think I recommend it to anybody. But anyway, back to what I was saying earlier. With that, I took down the note, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And that's written by James Clear in Atomic Habits. If you haven't read that book, that's a really great book. I highly recommend it for business or for anything. I know that we have goals in life, but once you create systems to actually get to those goals, that's whenever the magic happens. So if you have a system, let's say for manifestation, like you've got a system that works for you, then it's proven to you that it's going to work. But on the flip side of that, you've also got things that are proven not to work, which is why you might be feeling bad or anxious or worried, all those things. So you've created systems already. They just haven't worked well for you, maybe. So I highly encourage you to look at your systems. And a system to me is just like a process of doing activities, like getting tasks done. There's a process to get everything done. And there's reasons behind every piece of that, like a step-by-step kind of a thing is what a system is. So you want to create some step-by-step systems for yourself that actually lead to the goal that you're trying to get to, whatever that is. I think our main goal should be to just connect with ourselves, connect with source, God, universe, whatever you want to call it. Connection is so important because once you're connected, it's like you're plugged in. It's like if you're plugging a toaster in, or if you're wanting to toast some toast, you have to plug the toaster in. Or if you want to vacuum your house, you have to plug it in. It's got to have that electricity, if I could talk, electricity to make it go. That's how we are. We need electricity to make us go. So you have to plug in to the connection. And then as you plug in, it's like everything kind of magically unfolds on its own. And so, but our systems that are not working for us are kind of what's running in the background. It's like a program in a computer that's like this old system that's running. So we've got to update the system. You've got to upgrade the software. And so really think about where your systems are lacking and where you can upgrade your whole system. And once you connect to source, God, universe, whatever you want to call it, the quantum field, whatever we want to call that, that's where all the answers lie. And so if you're struggling with, what do I do next? I struggled with that a lot too before. Like, what do I do next? And what's next is what's most exciting for you. Like, what really lights you up? What are you feeling passionate about? What just brings light to your eyes, literally, when you think about it, or a smile to your face when you think about it? That's your next step. Even if it's just doing laundry even, or a cup of coffee, or driving around town for 20 minutes. It could be anything. It could not make any sense to be attached to the thing you're trying to get, the thing you're trying to create. But you just do it for the experience. And then it leads you to a feeling, which leads you to more thoughts that lead to more feelings. And all of a sudden, you're feeling really good. And all of a sudden, oh boy, that person just texted you. Or, oh boy, you got that job offer. Oh boy, you got some extra money in your account you didn't know about. So that's kind of what creates that, is when we're feeling really good. And when you're connected to self, you always want to return to self. Return to you and investigate your systems. Where do I need to upgrade my system? You know, where is it lacking? Where it doesn't need to be lacking anymore. And also knowing that you're not alone. I'm starting this channel too to create a community. So I don't want people to ever feel alone, because I felt alone many times in my life. And so that's kind of what I'm wanting to build too. Eventually I'll create a membership and I'll do more lives so I can get to know people better. And just, I have some plans here to create a community. And so you're definitely not alone. Remember that you're safe within yourself. If you can create safety within yourself, you have everything. If you have you've got everything. You got the keys to the kingdom if you've got you. But it's up to you to protect you. And when I say protect, I don't mean out of like defense. I mean, what are you feeding your mind? What are you looking at daily? What are you reading? What are you listening to? Feed your mind with the proper mental diet, the proper food it needs, the nourishment it needs. You know, how are you nourishing yourself? What thoughts are you thinking? Are you planting seeds and watering them? Or are you just planting the seed and just like haphazardly watering, you know, maybe one day you water and the next day you forget? You know, you've got to take inventory of what you're doing within your mind. And if you're trying to start something, could be a manifestation routine, it could be a business, it could be a new relationship, whatever it is, just start it now. Each step you take is going to give you more confidence, or it's going to lead you to something that is going to say, oh, that might not have been the right step. Let's go this way. But you're never going to know until you start. And with YouTube, again, I was talking about it for years. And I finally started. And I'm so thankful I did, because it feels so good. And when I get to video 365, it's just going to feel unbelievable, I think. And I really recommend you guys doing something that you're scared to do. I was terrified of doing this. And now if I get invited on podcasts, which I've already been on one that I haven't really mentioned before. I was on one last year for like over 2 hours. And someday I'll talk more about that. But I'm going to get on every podcast. I think I could probably get on a stage and talk even, which is the last thing that I would ever do. And so as I just did each video, it's like I got a little more confident. You want to get a little more confident in you because you deserve it. You've got to believe in you. The only person that can believe in you is you because you're creating everything. So you've got to believe in you now. I don't care what the evidence around you says. I don't care if I've always thought this way. I've always believed this way. That's a surefire sign that something probably needs to change if you're wanting to manifest something. I mean, if your life is perfect and it's exactly the way you want it to be, then you probably don't need to hear some of this. But if you're wanting to change something, it's coming from within you first. And you have to believe in you and your power, that your imagination is powerful, that you're imagining all day long. You might as well be deliberate with it and set some intentions and really get in there and start thinking the quote impossible. Remember, impossible is I'm possible. Anything is possible. All possibilities exist in the quantum field, in the universe. Everything exists. Everything is actually already created. And all you got to do is align with that. And that is just a step-by-step letting go, surrendering. Sometimes when you're just so overwhelmed and so drained and exhausted, sometimes you just have to say, I surrender. Just pull out that white flag and just say, I'm done. Stick a fork in me, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm exhausted. I've been there. I know exactly what that feels like. And that's whenever I started practicing surrender. I was like, okay, let's do this surrender thing. And surrendering is just like completely just relaxing your mind and just saying, okay, I'm going to shut off these thoughts. I'm just going to let them go. I'm just the observer of the thoughts. That's what you are. You're the observer of thoughts. You are consciousness having a human experience. This technically isn't, quote, real. You're just having an experience. It's a perception. And so remember that we've got one moment, which is right now. So what are you going to do with right now? You get to decide what you do. Nobody is deciding this for you. Nobody is keeping you from this. You just have to keep believing in you and your power inside you and be bold and convicted about your vision. So figure out what your vision is. If you want $1 million or $1 billion, it's the same type of energy that creates both. We just don't fully believe it. When we hear billion, I think million is a little easier to believe nowadays. But when we hear billion, it's kind of like, ooh, I don't know about $1 billion. But what if we did believe in $1 billion? What if we did? So I really encourage you to say, what if I did start believing this? What would my life look like? What would I start thinking like? And then you'll naturally start going that way. It'll just happen naturally. You won't have to do much. And that's when I learned about manifestation and how there's really no effort with it. It's just changing your identity to the person that already has what you're wanting. That's literally all that it is. You're literally shifting to an identity of a person that already has what you're wanting. There's nothing else to do except get out of your way. The first job is to know what you want and then identify with it. And then the third thing is don't self-doubt. Get self-doubt out of here. And that is probably the hardest thing. But yet it's so simple. We make it hard. So if you start saying, this is easy, I don't have to make this hard. I can make this easy. You're going to have to probably say this to yourself, 1,000 times. But after a while, maybe after 155 that you've said, 155 times that you've said it, you'll start to believe, oh, okay, yeah, I can kind of see that could be, what could happen. I can kind of see it now. I can kind of feel it a little bit, get a feeling going with it. What would it feel like? Because right now you're so used to feeling the way that you feel that you can't even fathom actually feeling good. Sometimes I think for people, it's scary to feel good too, because you're scared that the other shoe is going to drop and it's going to be taken away. which that's what will happen if you're that convicted about it. So you have to be as convicted about your vision as you are about what your reality looks like right now. That's the key. Be as, believe in your vision so much that just as much as you don't see it right now. Because right now you're not seeing it. You know that it's not there. You know what your name is. You know what your address is. You know what city you live in. You know your birthday. So you have to be you're convicted about those things. You have to take that level of conviction over to your vision with zero evidence, because you've got evidence of all those other things. It's real easy to believe what you have evidence for. But when you go over here and you have no evidence yet, that's where our brain's like, no, this can't be true. This isn't logical. But when you start to shift that way and you start to just think magically, even though this isn't magic, this is just natural stuff that happens all the time, we just don't know we're doing it, then things start to happen and you'll start to notice changes. And that's what I love about this. I had to hear this taught to me over and over and over and over and over before I finally developed. And I'm still getting better at it. I'm not perfect at this yet, but I plan to be really good at teaching this stuff. So each time I talk to you guys about this, I feel like I'm going to get better. And then pretty soon I'll be able to really give my all, because I've got thousands of pages of notes that I've taken over the years that I can't wait to turn into digital products and courses and more videos. So I've got tons of content that I can put out there. And I hope every little bit helps you. And if it does, please let me know below. Please comment. I love your comments. Thank you so much for all the comments that I get. I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening and supporting me. And I hope that I am helping to support you. I'm here for you guys. And share with someone that might need this message, and subscribe if you're new. Welcome. I love having everyone here that loves to talk about this stuff. I could talk about it for hours. So, well, you guys take care and have a wonderful day or evening, whatever time it is where you are. And I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.